someone, as they would say in Russian, you can always call them ты instead of вы, because they are the people you are actually getting to know super closely during the time at the university. So I think network of people you meet, your friends, is super important, and that was something that I was also very inspired by. And of course, the ability to just kind of dedicate time to studying. I think when I was your age, I wanted so much to start working. It was like, when will I be done with school so I can start working, so I can start like studying less? Why do I need to spend so many hours in the library? But I think at one point, I remember I was a first year student in my bachelor's degree, and I remember thinking, this is such a great time to just focus on studies. You have your whole life to work, really. You have so many years of work ahead of you. This is incredible time to focus on studies, to focus on actually reading the books, something that once you have daily routine and everyday work, you just kind of completely overwhelmed with the responsibilities that you have. And now, as a student, whether you are doing your bachelor's or master's, you actually can focus on study. So I think the third thing that was really inspiring was that I could be again in the library and study. So these are, I guess, the three things. Thank you so much. Yes, please. You were next. Thank you so much. Well, I think you all will be much better than I am, so I have no doubt on this. You all have such bright eyes and such incredible future ahead of you. The opportunities that you objectively have nowadays are just so much richer than, I had even, 15, 20 years ago. So I think seizing those opportunities is incredible, and as any arithmetic progression, excited to be you. I want to be you. I wish I could be you. So that's one, right? And then two, I think it's really important to be patient, right? I think theoretical physics, that's what I sort of focused on. And a lot of times in math and physics, I don't know if you remember this, but you just like get stuck on a problem and you can't solve it. Like someone explained it to you and you just can't solve it. And sometimes you want to figure it out, you want to actually find the quick way of figuring it out, but it's really not the right way. The questions now is when you have a question, try not to rush the answer. When you are faced with a problem that you do not know the answer to, try to actually be in that question. Try to be okay in this uncomfortable condition of not knowing what the answer is. Because in not so distant future, the answer will come to all of you. And the answer will come in a most unpredictable time. But don't rush it. Because I think what's really makes each of you set apart is that you can find the answer, within you by just actually slowing down and processing. So it's not really the game of who will be the first, but focus on quality. So I would say leaving the questions now is really important. Thank you.
So, please.
Thank you so much. It's an excellent question. Like, first of all, legal system, you can sit down with this, thanks a lot. The legal system is very different, right? We have a continental law system, which is basically usually called civil law system, right? The system in the United States is a common law system. The systems couldn't be more different from one another in the way you even approach problem solving, really, in the way you approach how to make a decision, right? And in law, where everything is pretty much should be predictable, right? That's an interesting factor, right? So you spend, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 years in civil law jurisdiction, thinking like a continental law lawyer, and then you go to a common law jurisdiction, and your goal is really to learn how to think like a common law practitioner or academic, whatever it is. Because the systems are very different. And I think that was very obvious. It was very obvious because the approach is different. And because approach is different, the method of teaching is very different. The classes are very different. Everything is different. But that being said, it doesn't mean that you can't learn it, right? I mean, it's, after all, you are learning critical thinking when you are in law school. That's what your advantage is from everyone else, that you can think critically. And that allows you to learn a different method of learning. If that makes sense. So, in a way, you may feel confused, right? Because I felt confused. And because I felt confused at first, I was like, well, how am I going to do this? All these exams, all these midterms, what am I going to do? But the reality is that you can, and it's quite exciting. You remember the first time when you guys started studying the first year, like the first day, I remember when I started Umed, and I remember the first day, we had so many classes, I was like, how am I going to do this? This is so much reading. How am I going to actually be able to get everything done? And then after a week, month or so, you kind of figure it out. By the end of year 1, you're like, oh, I'm on a roll. Second year, everything is super easy. You know, like, you know this. You all know this. It's all the first year, honestly, the hardest part, right? After that, you kind of roll with the punches. So I think it's really with everything else. It's the same. Beginnings are always more difficult, but everything's, you know, it's all in the beginning, right? And I think understanding and observing in the beginning is super important. So I have time for one more question.
Odatda Garvard yoki boshqa top universitetlarida talabalar juda ham qattiq dars berishadi. Ko'p o'qishadi. Biznikilar kamroq qilishadi. Bu ko'p o'qishda charchab qolmaslik va ilm olishda texnikasi bormi, boshqacha bir metodi bormi qanaqa?
Not to get tired?
Yes.
Well, I mean, sleeping.
Qanaqa qilib sutkada 15 soat dars berish mumkin?
Well, I think, you know, I honestly think that the more you read, do you guys remember preparing for exams to get into university? Do you remember that period, this awful period? I still remember it. It was so many years ago. Do you remember studying for exams to get into university? Everyone remembers that period of time? Do you remember, like, first time preparing tests or whatever, and having this anxiety, right? This is so much, and then maybe like in a month or two, noticing that you're reading faster, noticing that you can do more, answer more questions faster, that after time of practicing, you just do things faster. Did everyone experience that or not? I mean, this is a universally scientifically proven fact, that people get faster by doing. So honestly, I don't think there is a golden rule or magic pill of how to maximize your 15 hours. I think the truth is, you just do your best. It's like, you know, if you're practicing, for example, for Olympics, how many people here have actually done competitive sports? Competitive sports, like for example, you are either a swimmer or a runner. Can you raise your hands, competitive people? Okay, so you remember when you did competitive sports, remember how much time it takes? Like I remember, I was a professional gymnast, I remember it's like day in, day out, you're just exhausted. You like sometime in the middle of October, and you know there's so much more to go, but you really need to practice. But someone else in your team may be much better. And that's the truth. Like someone else may be so much better. And you're like, what do I do? What kind of elixir can I drink to become as good as my competitor or someone who is on my team? And the reality is that it doesn't exist. There is everything happens for each of you in your own timing. I think the most important thing is to focus on working at your own pace. Because eventually, as anyone who has done sports, anyone who has built muscles will know, it takes time. Everything takes time. So it's not about doing it, maximum within 15 hours. It's about how do you do it so that you can actually do it in your own pace. So I think if I could say one more thing before finishing here is your career, if you're serious about it, and I really hope you are serious about it because we have very high hopes for all of you, please. It is a marathon, it is not a sprint. How many of you ran marathon? Okay, so you ran marathon. You remember how long it takes. It takes a long time to prepare. You really prepare your body. If you ran marathon, I ran marathon almost. It was horrible. It was so horrible preparing, took forever. But remember, like when you're preparing for marathon, if you ran for the first time the entire marathon, you will just collapse. Your legs will collapse, you will stop breathing, you will just your body will stop operating, right? The truth is, it takes time to prepare. It takes time to become comfortable running this really long distance. So I think legal career is like marathon. It just takes time. It's the time that you put in to practice and to excel. So take it easy, but also don't stop. Like a Japanese proverb says, fast is slow but without stopping. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much.
Mamnuniyat bilan keyingi spikerimizni davramizga taklif qilaman. Bizni Toshkent davlat yuridik universitetini bitiruvchisi.
Mana bilimda
ham yuridik
Amerikada o'z
media sohasida o'zini munosib o'rnini topgan ko'pchiliklar